Howdy, welcome. If you're invested in the drip garden on the Animal Farm site, you may have noticed that your value on per plant is falling. So this amount is falling down. This may worry you. Should you be worried is the question. And what are you going to do about it? Well, one, this is not financial advice. I'm just documenting what I'm doing in my opinion. I can't tell you whether you should worry or not. But let's look at it this way. We're going to drop back to a video that I made on the 12th where I only had 15 plants, and I can see that I was making, I don't know if they had it this time. Oh yeah, there it is. I was making about $3 a day. That's 0.073 LP. So that was on the 12th. This is the 23rd today. I'm at 91 plants and up to an estimated 16 a day at this current value for this much of the LP token, about 0.450. Now, a couple things did happen. I did get a couple boosts in probably referrals. I think I got maybe 20 plants from that, and I may have added about 20 plants. So let's call it about 50. You could call it 50 somewhere along the way that either came from referrals or other places. But other than that, I've just been compounding. I certainly didn't put $480 worth of plants in. I might have put 150, 180, something like that. So this value per plant, this 532, is dropping. Currently, it is dropping. Now, this LP token, what we're getting, that we would eventually convert to something we could actually spend if we decided to harvest, that value is coming from, this is the LP token, the drip/BUSD. And obviously, half of that is drip, so it's going to be partially driven by the drip price. And we know that that is down, but I believe it's been relatively steady today. Actually, I think it may have kicked back up a little bit. Let me look at this on another site. We look at a market cap or something similar. It may have even come back up a little bit today. So let's look at this over the last month to see where we are. Blow this page up a little. Now we're definitely trended back downward, but we have to keep that in perspective when we zoom out. That this was trending along at around 20 for, what is this? This is July, August, September, October, November, and then it just skyrocketed up with all this extra adoption, and it hit this 170, almost 200 there. And so to me it makes sense that we're in this downward trend now. There was a lot of excitement, a lot of escalation into the project, into the protocol, and then what happened? Animal Farm opened up. The drip garden was opened at some point after drip. The pig pen, these other pools and farms, and now piggy bank is about to start. I'm really not surprised in the downward trend of drip, but I still think it's moving relatively horizontal for what it is. I got in around 120 or so, where we're sitting at about 100 today. Yeah, so we're still on a downward trend. That may continue. I'm personally not incredibly worried about that. The other point to be made is that if you're compounding, you're gonna keep compounding. Now, if you have over 60 plants, and it won't take very long to get there, if you're lower than that, you're gonna start doubling every 30 days. And what I mean by doubling every 30 days is that actually that's only if you weren't compounding across those 30 days. So if you have 60 plants and you didn't claim any of them, you waited until the end of a 30-day period, then you would actually double to 120, because around 60 plants, you should be making 2 plants a day. That'll give you another 60, and then it'll double it, and that works for any 30-day period after about 60 plants. Now, that's if you didn't compound that whole month. You didn't compound or claim, you just let it sit there. But we're not doing that. With that small amount of plants, or where I'm at, 91, I'm hitting it every plant. I'm actually following this schedule, and I'm hitting it, maybe not the 3 a.m.s every time, but I'm hitting this 11:26 a.m., and then I'm hitting the 7:21. And so at least a couple times a day, I'm compounding, which is adding some type of percentage here, 0.1 or 0.5 or whatever it is for each plant. And so I say after 60 plants, you're doubling every month, but it's actually more than that if you're compounding daily. It's actually more than doubling every month. So that's really the only question here. I mean, if drip drops drastically, that sounds like a tongue twister. If drip drops drastically, this LP token obviously is going to suffer more than what it's at right now, and that'll drop plants down. Now it's good to remember that this is not the set price either. It's not that it can't go higher than this. It has gone higher than this. I've personally seen it go rock back up 20, 30 cents within a week time frame, and then it came back down mostly due to the drip price. And we know there's a million reasons that drip is lower right now. I'm sure every YouTuber is mentioning all of their thoughts on that or theories, which may or may not be correct. I mean, there may be something else going on that we're not paying attention to. But so that's the point I would make, is that we're so rapidly compounding that I'm at $16 here, and I certainly wasn't at that. And I think even without the 20 or 25 plant boost in referral that happened along the way.
Grant, here is.
Sorry if that came through the mic. I had to pause an Alexa that was going off in my background. So I think even without those extra referral rewards, things like that, I think we're still compounding quicker than this will decline. But again, that's just my theory. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to keep rolling with it and see where it goes. And the other point to make, kind of the last point to make here, as far as things dropping, this contract balance is increasing. So there's already that natural balancing out with the fertilizer bonus. There's already the natural balance that they've built in to the game, where new capital is going to have cheaper plants on purpose so that they can kind of catch up and start at a similar point, buy an equivalent amount of plants when they start off. And even if you buy more plants right now, you'll still have that bonus if you're just buying new plants outright. So the contract balance going up is part of that equation that affects that buying power bonus, as well as every single day this game is active, there's a time bonus. I think it's 0.01% or something like that per day. So there's things like that worked into the code where naturally it's going to drop over time. We expect that, but there is more of a fluctuation downward than we would expect that I hope to come back up from when Piggy Bank launches on Tuesday, and when that settles out, after that kind of settles out and people are getting some rewards from that, I think they may throw it back this way, definitely back into drip. Everyone kind of agrees from what I've seen on the telegrams and other group chats that drip is their base. It pays a steady 1%. They see it as more stable, less of a high risk investment than the garden and these other farms. And so I think people will keep coming back to that and starting new wallets as they max out and just getting that 1% steady. Because I mean, with no compounding, you get your ROI, you get your return on investment back within 100 days, even without compounding on drip. So I think a lot of people are going to come back to that. And then of course with compounding, you get your ROI even quicker. So I see the drip price going back up at some point. That will help this a little bit. But if anything, it may just keep us steady at this, where are we at? Like 530, 550 range for a while, even if drip comes back up. And before that happens, we will likely see this we will likely see this drop lower. But just, keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on your asset worth here, even though we can't sell these. This should be growing as you compound. This amount should grow. Just check at the end of the week if you're obsessing over price. Is this higher? And I don't think I made the point that I was just about to make, but the last point that I would make here, so maybe this is point 3 or 4 or 5, is that we're already in. If you're already invested, you already have plants in here. I mean, sure, you could cash out, like bleed this on the way down, but you're still not going to get your investment back if you do nothing but harvest, just because of the way the code is written, the way rations out, it's going to drop your rewards that you're getting if you're doing nothing but harvesting. So I don't see that as really an option if we're already invested. So what we're going to do is keep compounding and outpace that decay. And all that might mean is that if it's lower, it just means it's going to take a moment longer for me to get to that goal point of where I want to be. Whether it's $100 a day or $1,000 a day, it's going to take a little longer to get there if that price is lower. But during that time period, if we have faith in this system, if you've done your own research and you think it's going to sustain and still be there, it means that we may even reach our goal quicker, because during that time period, it may boost back up. We just don't know. None of us have a crystal ball. We can't predict this, but we're already in it. I'm already in it. I'm invested. So I'm going to keep compounding and just see where it goes. That's just one of the, you could say, benefits of these protocols, where your initial investment is burned until you get it back out through playing the game. And Drip's the same way. If anything, that adds some element of sustainability, because it does keep people from just getting scared by a price fluctuation and bailing out of the whole platform, which is kind of a risk on these other ones. That's what I did on the farm, and maybe after this piggy bank announcement, I should have left some in here, because that is what I did. It wasn't paying out, and so I pulled my funds back out, which may not have even been that smart. But again, do all your own research. Hang out in the Telegram groups a little bit. Ask questions. Ask me questions. Hop in my Telegram. Add it in the comments. Whatever you want to do, and just do your own research and decide if it's a good investment for you if you're not invested. But if you are already here, there's not much else of a choice except don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Keep compounding, and let's see where this gets to. I mean, the contract balance keeps growing. That means more people are hearing about it and jumping in and putting more money in it and compounding and telling their buddies, their friends, everything else. And if nothing else, that should be good for the whole ecosystem. I mean, part of this LP token is drip, right? So if anything, that should help that whole ecosystem along, unless I'm missing something, which is incredibly possible. But so that's my thoughts on all of that. I wouldn't worry about it. I'm just going to keep compounding and, like I said, see where we end up. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. Hope you're having a great evening or morning or afternoon whenever you're watching this. Subscribe if you would like. I would recommend not turning on all notifications, only because I don't just post things about passive income. You'll see some weird, crazy white boy raps, maybe me reading some poetry, playing old school RuneScape, strumming the guitar, which I'm not a expert level at yet. So all kinds of things. If you're here for passive income only, I would just bookmark this playlist, or not check all notifications. I think there's an option that says notifications just for you, and that'll just probably give you ones in that interest if that is all you're interested in. But again, thanks for watching. I appreciate the support. I'm surprised that enough people are in this space and subscribed to begin with, that they were interested enough and found it helpful. So that's cool. I appreciate it. Hope to see you guys on Telegram or wherever else. Have a good one.